Hi everyone, how's everyone doing here today? It's a little windy out here, but we just still got some nice weather in spite of some of the chilliness. So this was something I meant to talk about earlier, but I didn't quite get the chance, and it is about the whole DEI thing, which is pretty much something they can throw around without saying the N-word. That is to the hardcore racists out there. And some of them would love to say the N-word on social media and stuff, but depending on what their career choice is, it wouldn't be advantageous for them to do that, so they just go with DEI, which is the label that Kamala Harris was being hit with left and right when she became the presidential candidate, and Biden chose to step down after his first and only term is completed. So I wanted to talk about that because I too heard that from a lot of friends and everything. How is she a DEI hire? Because again, the other thing is also that some are saying oh, she slept her way to the top. For her past positions, some of those were done through elections. That's not something you can sleep your way into. You got to get voted in. So the whole slept her way to the top, that just makes no sense. If it was that easy to become president of the United States, I think it's safe to say Stormy Daniels could have easily been president. And you know what? I would vote for her over Donald Trump any day. So, pardon some of the background noise and the wind and everything. So, let's talk about that. Now, I even had one friend of mine who, he's a Trump supporter and everything, and we talk, and we disagree on a lot of things, but we still try and show each other respect. But to him, this was possibly an elaborate scheme where Biden claims he was going to go for 2 terms, but instead only does 1, and then lets Kamala Harris, pass the baton to her. Now, was this whole thing some big elaborate plan? I don't know. I haven't seen any evidence to prove that, so again, it's just a whole lot of speculation. Let's pretend for 1 minute I chose to believe it, which I don't, but let's pretend I did. Let's say the whole thing, he's right. It was a big plan, they're putting it into effect, and once Kamala wins, mission accomplished. You know what I would say to that? So what? So what? Is that technically it's not illegal, it's not breaking the rules or anything like that, and assuming it was breaking the rules, which I could be wrong on, guess what? How many times have we seen the GOP break and bend rules to their advantage when it's convenient for them? How many times? Plenty of times. Especially regarding the Supreme Court. So you guys already know about that. If you don't, believe me. They're not one to play by rules. It's just win by any means necessary. And when in doubt, just scream fraud or cry foul. So, no, I don't think it was a convenient, an elaborate plan or anything like that. And then after that, there's all this talk about, oh, the color of skin, she's supposedly black, or she's not black. She's Jamaican and Indian, something. You know what? I don't care about that either. As far as I know, she's always identified herself as black. I didn't pay too much attention to that because, again, I don't care about that. I'm not focusing on the color of her skin. I'm focusing on her character, on her background, some of the accomplishments she did as VP, and what she could potentially do as president of the United States. The first woman president. I'm not supporting Kamala Harris because of the color of her skin. I'm not supporting her because she's a woman. I'm supporting her because she has more experience, more knowledge, and like I said, she has some pretty solid accomplishments that shows that she can easily outperform Donald Trump, who to me was a failure of an administration. Okay, I've talked about that on plenty of times, so that's the reason I'm choosing for her. So I don't look at Kamala Harris as a DEI. Now, people are going to keep saying that over and over again, and they're going to be like, well, yeah, they're going to call me a racist because I called her DEI. Well, it is kind of a racist thing to say, because you're putting emphasis on the whole color thing. You're trying to make that the issue instead of focusing on the bigger picture. Charlie Kirk, who says, well, if I see a black pilot, I'm nervous because I feel like he's a DEI hire. Well, how do you know that, Charlie? I mean, did you look at his resume? Did you talk to him? Did you ask him about his background, where he trained, how he learned how to fly and everything? At my job, there is a whole, I like to always use the term salad bowl, but I have a wide range of different ethnicities at my job. African American, Middle Eastern, European, Asian, South American, you name it, they're there. And for the ones, people of color, they are very good at their jobs, and it's a wide range of different positions and different divisions. I have some that work for the advocates group, some that are work in the press office, some that work in legal, some are in admin levels. We have chiefs and directors and managers that are people of color, and guess what? They do a pretty good job. So while I'm working with them, at no time am I looking at them thinking, yeah, they only got the job because, they were black, because they were a woman. I don't look at that at all. So, just to make a statement like that, as Charlie once said, you can't say that because then they'll say you're a racist. That's how he put it. I don't know why he put that weird noise before it, but, well, yeah, Charlie, you are racist, as if we needed a reminder. And that's not any name calling, that's just calling him for what he is. Yeah, when you do say Kamala Harris only got the job because she's DEI, it's kind of a racist thing to say. I'm not saying every single person that says it is flat out racist, but it is kind of a racist thing to say because, like I said before, you're not looking at the big picture. Let's look at some of the other political candidates on the other side. In the past, we had Herschel Walker. He was running, I think it was in Georgia, against Raphael Warnock. He didn't win, thank goodness, because he wasn't the brightest bulb in the shed. He had no experience, and he had certain mental issues, but that didn't stop the GOP from supporting him. People like Lindsey Graham and Ted Cruz. Why? Well, because if he wins, one, it gives him an extra seat that strengthens their hold in Congress, and two, he would just be a dumb black person to tell him exactly what to do, nothing more. And then to just parade him around and say, look, we're not racist, we support Herschel Walker. Well, thank goodness he lost. Now they don't talk about him anymore. But now we got Tim Scott and Byron Donalds, who they were trying to, get their foot in the door for VP under the Trump campaign. Well, that didn't work out. He chose J.D. Vance. What about Scott and Donalds? Are they DEIs? Are they? I don't hear anyone on the right complaining about that. Fox, which is a big propaganda and Trump bootlicker. Harris Faulkner, is she a DEI? Well, is she? I mean, by all rationale, if that's how you see Kamala Harris, then I imagine you see her as a DEI hire too. I'm not saying that. I'm just putting that out there. But you don't hear them saying that, of course. It's only because at this point that, they had the advantage when Biden was too old and cognitive decline, but they didn't want him to step down because they figured that would be an easy victory for Trump. And now, Kamala Harris is now on the ticket, her and Tim Walz. So now they're scrambling and they're making up all these excuses. They're like, oh, we weren't prepared for this isn't right, they broke the rules, we spent all this money on the Biden campaign, they should reimburse it. It's like, shut the hell up. Oh, and she's DEI. No, she's not. No, she's not. Again, I don't buy the whole conspiracy theory, elaborate plan and everything, And like I said, even if it turned out to be true, if I'm wrong, well then, so be it. I choose Kamala Harris because she has the experience and she knows what she's talking about. Because she brings a certain energy to the table. And on top of that, she is not a convicted felon. She did not try to overthrow the government. Okay? She does not lie consistently. She has not done or put out, some of the really horrendous policies we've seen from a certain other candidate who clearly shows he does not care about people. He does not care about the working class, that he wants tax cuts so he can enrich himself and his wealthy friends and keep himself in power, especially now to avoid legal charges that he brought on himself. A former prosecutor facing a now convicted felon. That's going to be interesting in the up-and-coming debate. So now he's scrambling. She's a DEI. And Trump's a racist. No, I don't think Kamala Harris is a racist. Trump definitely is a racist. And I don't want a criminal racist in the White House. But here's one thing as far as the whole racist thing goes. Now this would be the part where Candace Owens, not to get off topic, would rear her ugly head and say, oh no, there was no racism up until Obama came. Not true. Or Nikki Haley would turn around and say, oh, we're not a racist country and everything, but I remember growing up in racist. I don't remember exactly how she worded it, but she managed to make a false point, a lie, and then contradict herself all within the same sentence. Good job, Nikki. Anyhow, when you take some of the people that I just talked about, Tim Scott, Byron Donalds, and Harris Faulkner at Fox, all three Trump bootlickers, all three people of color. Here's an interesting little tidbit, and I could be wrong, I'm just speculating here, but as loyal they are to Trump, even Scott and Byron's, even though they didn't get the VP pick, oh well, like you had a chance to begin with. Anyhow, any one of those three has to do one thing, say one negative thing about Trump, even just slightly negative, slightly critical. Just be like, well, Trump has been a little unhinged, but I still support him. Or, you know, Trump, I know he's, you know, not doing well in the polls. And oh, but I do support him. Any type of negative light that they shine on Trump, guess what happens? In the case of Scott and Donald, since they're politicians, rhinos. That's what the GOP would say. That's what Trump would say. You know, Harris Faulkner, oh, fake news, no good. Fox, she should be fired. But you know what also they would call them? Do you know what also they would call him? DEI. I could be wrong, but I seriously doubt it. So, anyway, thank you for watching. I really hope you understand.